Let's pop the top.
Mm.
Welcome back to Drunk Wives Club for our first episode of 2024.
Scary.
I know we made it through 2023. I'm not
Barely.
quite sure how we did that.
Yeah, we did. But we started this in 2023, so it was a great year.
It was a great year. We could do a flashback on like our favorite highlights of 2023, but that would take us some time to think about. So maybe we'll talk about some other stuff before.
Yeah,
and if
I
it
don't even
comes to mind.
remember what we did in 2023. Nothing exciting.
It flew by. No, I feel like you went on some vacations, didn't you?
Yeah, we turned old.
Older.
So now we're 33.
I'm not.
I don't like to be reminded when people are younger than me.
I'm not like that much younger. I'm just not 33 yet.
It's a great year. Your 30s are way better than your 20s because you have your life together-ish and you have money.
Ish. No, I don't.
That's what Cosmopolitan told me in 2005. Okay, so I always believed it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it was a Cosmopolitan article in the magazine.
In 2005.
I don't know what year it was, but it was before I turned 21.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, 2005 was when we were in 8th grade. So I don't think it was then. But that's so funny that you remembered that.
I always remember it. I always carry it with me because I'm like, are they better? I don't know. I feel like sometimes I still don't have my life together.
No, I'm aware more that I don't have my life together. Like in my 20s, I was like, no, I
feel like your 20s, you have an excuse because you're so young.
Yeah, and you say you're figuring it out, but then in your 30s, you realize that you're always going to be figuring it out and you'll never fully have it figured out.
That's true. I feel like this is turning into a lifetime quote.
Mm.
But this beer we're drinking, I have something to tell you about it.
Okay.
So I was in Florida, like, well, I guess it's gonna be out in January. So in December, I was in Florida, and they have this great IPA there called Hop Gun, and it's made by Funky Buddha. I don't know where the brewery is because I'm terrible at things like this, but every time I go to Florida, I smuggle it home in my suitcase.
It's in Oakland Park, Florida.
I think that's by Orlando, a little bit. But I brought these 2 6-packs home and I was so excited because they did not explode in my suitcase. And then as I was putting them in the fridge, I was like, let me just look at the bottom of the can. They're best by October. It's December.
These ones? Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Oh.
No, I mean, I only had one sip of it, but
yeah, I mean, I guess you can't tell because you haven't compared it to a fresh one.
That's true. So can you tell?
A little bit, but I mean, it's still good.
So where did you get them?
Some little side beer shop.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get them at the brewery because that would have been, I would have been like a little shocked by that.
Yeah, I would have wrote them an email like a Karen. But alas, here we are. It's still delicious. And I have convinced everybody to go play trivia tonight. And the theme is Taylor Swift versus Travis Kelce. So obviously I have the Taylor Swift down and I have armed. No, I don't actually. I have armed my trivia team with the top sports enthusiasts
that will go out to do this
on a Wednesday
night
at 7,
which is
late for us. 7 p.m. That's aggressive. That's like college time.
It's like a normal
going
adult time, but not on a Wednesday.
Yeah, not on a Wednesday.
But I like that it's 7 because it means that people who like work different hours or like a little bit later can still join.
Yeah, that's true.
But it'll be interesting.
And it's of course at our favorite brewery, Baldbird's.
Baldbird's Brewery in Audubon, Pennsylvania.
And we said we weren't going to drink during this because everybody who's listened to this knows what Baldbird's beer do to us. And if you've experienced it firsthand, I'm sorry for you.
No, I'm happy for you. It's just like hits you like a brick.
Wait, can you talk about why you were up past midnight on Friday?
Oh, we're gonna just like jump into it. I can, but I didn't tell you the whole story. And I actually thought about bringing this up and it was
perfect.
Super weird. So we have like topics in mind, but this might just like be like a little derailed. So my friend Jill just had her first baby in September and she has not been out. And so she's like, I really need a night out to like myself, like let's go out. Said, perfect. So we went out after I was done work and after her husband got home on Friday, and it was like we were calling it a happy hour, but we both like talked to
Knew
our
it was going
husbands
to
and
be
we were
more
like,
than an
there
hour.
was like no set time, like they were handling the kids, like we were fine. And I like very much realized as the night went on as to like why I don't go out. And it
Is
was
it the people or the alcohol?
like a little of both, but definitely the people. So
Where were you?
essentially we went to like, for anybody that's like familiar, we went to Daniel's in Conshohocken, PA.
Daniels.
It was the old Lucky Dog. It's like on the corner of, it was like, I haven't been there since it changed. But somebody at work recommended it and they said they had really good drinks. And I said, okay, great. Do they have good food? Cause you know, we're in our
We're
30s
hungry.
and you absolutely can't drink without eating. It just never works. And he was like, yeah, I should have like known. It was like full on dinner menu. It would have been great for the atmosphere was really cool. The bar was nice and the drinks were really good. Like they had a good beer list, they had a good mixed drink list. And their happy hour from 4 to 6 was like great. We didn't get there until 6:30, but it was still like really good. But like we needed food and it was like meals.
Oh, it
Like
wasn't like
sit down,
appetizers?
like pasta, ravioli,
Ooh,
steak. And
nobody
we
wants
like,
to eat that when they're drinking.
not like that. So we decided we were gonna go somewhere else and we went to Boathouse, which is like
A mistake.
quite the
Mistakes were made.
opposite. So like I'd stick by it. It was fine. We got to sit at the bar. We had the last 2 seats at the bar. We were sitting next to these guys for like the whole time. And we were like minding our business. And where I was sitting was, I have only told one person this story.
Is it
And
Mark?
yeah. And so I was sitting like the end of the bar where people basically like, it's very clear, like there was a section where there were no seats. That's where people go up to get drinks.
Mhm.
I think we were there like maybe 10 minutes. I mean, we got there at probably like 7:45, 8 o'clock. So it wasn't late. And this guy was in like a really nice suit.
At Boathouse?
Yeah. Which like
I'm
anybody
already
that doesn't
concerned.
know, it was a Friday, so people were coming from work, but he was definitely with somebody else who, again, I was only looking from like my peripheral view because I like don't really like giving eye contact to people that I don't know. It just feels like really awkward. No, I've always been like that because when I do give eye contact, it just like is no good, which I still stick by based on this story. So
It just opens the door for conversation you do not want.
100%. I can't even explain. This is such a long story, but I'm gonna try and shorten it. Essentially, this guy said, "What stouts do you have?" And anybody that like knows, like follows beer, like during the Thanksgiving week, like a lot of times, like these big, huge stouts that are like once a year, from like all different breweries are released. They had some of them, like Bourbon County stouts from Founders, which they're like rare to have. They only come out once a year, and they had like 3 of them. They're all 12%. They're huge, like they're really like, and they're heavy. They're bourbon barrel.
I'm so glad I like IPAs and not stouts.
I love stouts, but that's like a lot and it's aggressive. So we had a beer list. I knew what they were. This guy clearly didn't, like I could tell. So the bartender was like, "Oh, we have these like once a year stouts," and he was explaining them. And the guy was like, "I'll take this one." And I was like, wow, that's like a very bold choice at 8 like PM. You have like all night to go.
Yeah, especially if you're just
Because I
starting.
could just tell, like it seemed like they were gonna like bar hop, basically. So he got that. I don't know if the other guy was in a suit because I never looked, but I could tell that he wasn't as dressed up as that
more
guy.
casual.
So they walk away, the guy comes back, he gets another beer, and it was like not that long of a time. So like a 12% beer, like he must have like chugged it.
And then got another one. Ooh.
Got another one, but not that. Like a different beer. I didn't know what it was. I saw it. He left. He came back like 20 minutes later and starts talking to the bartender. And I've talked about this before, like a very observant person. I have been like watching this unfold in not my favor. like the whole time that he was there. So I see him and he talks to the bartender and I watch him ask what me and my friend are drinking. I will tell you that I am going to be 33 years old soon, and I have never had a drink bought for me from like a person I didn't know.
No, that's a lie.
No,
really?
it's not. Yeah, because
Because you don't accept drinks from strangers.
No, I also just give off like my friends told me in college, like I
You
give the
have a
biggest
RBF.
FU vibes. I don't when I'm like around like but like I don't want to be bothered by people I don't know. I never have wanted to. That's just like how I am.
I would consider you my mean friend.
I know we talked about this. Everybody that doesn't know me is gonna think I'm so bad.
She's actually very nice and
But
welcoming.
I don't like to put myself in situations that I'm not gonna be comfortable in, and I will get mad. So like I don't like that. So I just don't do that.
And then she yells at me.
So I watched this. We're on our third beer. Like that was of the night. One at the first place, and this was our second beer, and it was full. Like second beer at Boathouse. It was full.
Did he buy you one?
I was gonna be done. And I was like, I don't want one. So I didn't know what to say. The bartender, now I like didn't know this, but she like looks at me real quick and then answers him. And then she puts like these two like overturned drinks. Yeah, like to be like, he's like, oh, your next drink is like paid for. And I don't know if this has happened with Jill before, but it never happened with me. So I was like, how do I like respond to this? No, I don't really want to talk to this man. I've watched what he's drank and how he's drank. So I'm like, okay. And I was like, I don't like know what to say. So I was like, oh, like cool. And we're literally the irony is just like, I'm married, have a kid. She's married, just had a kid, and we're like celebrating that she just like had a kid and is out. So it's just like couldn't be further from like what this guy is clearly looking for. So I didn't say anything, and he did not move. That was the worst part. So he just stood there
next to you,
staring at me. I was like, I can't look at it. Like I was looking at him, but I was like staring, like uncomfortably staring, not like, oh,
is he older?
Like, no, he's probably like around our age. So I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe he doesn't understand.
So Jill looked at him and goes, oh, like, thank you. And he's just like kind of staring. And she's like, oh, like, did you buy these drinks? Knowing that he did. But he was like, yeah, starts talking. Like, like, we just tried to be like normal. He was nice. And then it got weird because he said something about he was engaged, then he wasn't engaged. He was dating someone for 5 years. And it felt like he was being forced to marry her because of his culture, and he didn't want to do that. So I was like trying to be nice, and I was like, wow, that's so big of you to understand that before you got married. Like, that's great. Like me trying to be like a normal person. And he said something else, and it was like a cue into being like, I forget what it was. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, like we totally get it. Like we're married. And he was like, oh, you're married? And we're like,
don't they look at the rings? Men are so
That's what Jill said. She's like, again, this has never happened to me before. And she's like, you always look for the ring. And that's what Mark said too. And he was like, oh, like you're married? And we're like, yeah. And then he refused to stop talking to me. And it got weird, and he started to get like really close to me. And the guy who's been sitting next to Jill for like an hour and a half or like an hour, I don't even know what time it was. Like it was probably only like an hour. He never moved. He was like really nice. Like we just like minded our own business. And I heard him talk to Jill and said, like, what's your friend's name? And I was like, what? Like, how? Like, I've just been sitting here not doing anything, minding my own business with Jill. Like,
what
this
were
is
you
so
wearing?
frustrating.
You were the hot commodity of
I was just
Boathouse on Friday night.
A bodysuit and like pants.
See, it's the bodysuit.
It was the first time I actually wore a bodysuit out, which makes me never want to wear one ever again. But he basically said he went, like the guy that was sitting next to Jill, like looked at this creepy guy and was like, hey, like stop talking to my wife. And he pretended to be my husband, which I thought was really nice.
That is really sweet.
He was also definitely younger than me, so it was pretty clear he wasn't, but the guy was so drunk.
Stop?
No. And so then he was like, oh, your husband, blah, blah, blah. And the guy was like, oh, you want to come over here and like say it to me? And Jill was like,
Oh my God.
this couldn't have been that. It didn't feel like it was that late, but I don't know what time it was. I thought, like, Jill and I thought he was just trying to get him away from me. So he did, and then he came back. And I guess the whole time a different bartender came up to Jill and was like, hey, like, if it gets weird, like, let me know. And she's like, I think we're good. And then as soon as the bartender left, it got weird. Like, he got really close to me. It was like really uncomfortable. And she like went up to him and she was like, it got weird. And so he like got the tab and they made him leave. And I found out like the bartender was like, yeah, like the woman bartender originally was like, I tried to like look at you, like give you like eye contact to be like, this is happening. Like, and I was like, yeah, I mean, he got like a Bourbon County Stout. Like those are so high in alcohol. And she's like, yeah, then I watched him chug a sour monkey, which is also like 12%. So he chugged 12% beers. Like he was blackout drunk. And I was like,
he must have been really sad.
Yeah, I was like, this is why I don't go out. No, Mark said that that's like what people do. So they'll actually go for married people because they don't want like a commitment and they just want like a one night stand. And I'm like, how do people know these things? Like, this is why I'm married.
That sounds like a Reddit thread.
It was nuts. And Mark was like, oh my gosh, you got picked, like, not like a normal person. He's like, oh my God, you got picked up at a bar. That's so funny. Like, that's because you're hot. And like sitting there in sweatpants with my hair, like, not crazy. And I'm like, yeah.
But not the person that we would choose for you, a very drunk person. Weird. That's creepy though.
It was not.
Are you ever going to make eye contact with somebody again?
I didn't make eye contact with him the whole time. And then, yeah, it just got so weird. So that's why I was out, because then I didn't get home till like 12:30 and I was texting her. But it was so funny because I kept thinking about our podcast like the whole time, because some guy, the really nice guy next to us, was drinking a Vegas bomb. Do you remember those?
Oh, isn't that Red Bull with like grape vodka
Crown?
or something?
No, it doesn't have, it's Red Bull, Crown, and peach schnapps, I think. And
Sounds like a heart attack.
it brought me back to college and right after college, because I loved them in college and I didn't drink them a lot. And then at like every time I would see somebody after college and I'd be like, oh my God, have you ever had a Vegas bomb? And they'd be like, no. I'm like, I'm gonna buy you one. And it just like brought me back. But then the people were weird. Some guy gets 3 shots of Rumplemans, and it made me think of the podcast right away. And I was like,
and he didn't buy you a shot of Rumplemans? That's the least he could do.
Died.
It would have been worth it.
No, it would have.
Risk it for the biscuit on your one night out a year. I
was like 30 minutes from home.
How'd you get home? You didn't Uber?
I only had 3 beers. No, I paced myself. That's honestly why we were out late, because I was like, we weren't chugging beers. We weren't chugging 12% beers, man. Oh, also he was from New York, which was so convenient.
Well, I'm glad that people are still drinking Rumplemans, and I support it.
I think
not
it was
Vegas bombs.
It's so crazy though. Like we were just talking about it, and then someone was like, yeah, I'd like 3 shots of Rumplemans, and I just stared at him and I was like, Rumplemans, that's bold. And he's like, yeah, my coworker. And then I looked and there was a ton of other guys in suits, and I'm like, I'm so confused by this.
It does make me a little ill to think about, but
this is why I would go it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I really was not going to tell people a story, but you asked. I was like, all right,
now the whole world knows it. It will be in your archives forever.
My coworkers knew I was staying out because it was like around. It's not far from where I work. Where the places that we went out.
The boathouse too. It's like a mix of divey, but
I really thought it was fine. And they also have a bottle shop, and they have amazing beer from there. Like
I've never been to their bottle shop.
It's really cool. They have really good beers
that you can't find. Guppies.
No, that's like too far. That's too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my night, and that's why I don't go out. And I was a little hungover the next day, and that was also not fun. That was the first time I've been hungover, like truly hungover, in a long time.
It's not good, right?
Well, it's really not good when you have a 17-month-old who wakes up at 6 a.m.
Did you drink a liquid IV?
No.
Those things are actually life-changing.
I was so tired. I was like, I gotta go to sleep. That's all. I just went. I went to sleep.
I thought they were bullshit, but Chelsea always made me drink them because she's a responsible mom.
They're not bad.
They're actually pretty good.
They have a lot of sugar in them, apparently, though.
The sugar-free ones are the way to go.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had.
And it tastes like peach.
Oh, interesting.
Peaches and cream. hold the cream.
Interesting. Can we, before we get into our topics, talk about your sweater? For anybody that's watching on
I thought
YouTube.
we were gonna talk about my blowtorch, but I will gladly
Oh
talk
my
about
God, that too. Yeah.
when I was in Florida, there was a store at the mall called Box Lunch, which I don't know if there's one in King of Prussia,
I don't think so.
but it's kind of like Hot Topic, but it's mainly anime with a mix of Disney, Nickelodeon. It's a very weird store, but they had a small section totally dedicated to Barbie, and I was like, wow, this was made for me. And they had the sweater there, but they didn't have my size. So my friend Mina was like, oh, I can find it online for you. Don't even worry about it. And I was like, oh, whatever, like it's okay. And I kind of forgot about it. And then it came in the mail yesterday.
I
And on
love
the
it.
back, it says living the dream. And I love to say I'm living the dream, working in a
do.
nonprofit. So it's just
It
perfect.
just works out. It's your life motto.
And I was told I have to stop being passive aggressive, but I can't be passive aggressive in a Barbie sweater. And if I am, people can't be offended by it.
I don't think that's how it works, but at least you'll be cute when you do it.
I know,
It
but
really
it's
fits
better.
you. It also suits our recording studio.
It does. It's just great lighting in here,
Yeah.
and I like match the walls.
I know, it's amazing, but not like too matchy. It's very cute.
Yeah,
It works
see,
for
and
anybody.
it's going to channel my Taylor Swift knowledge for trivia night, so we win.
I can't wait to give an update on how we come in dead last because none of us know enough to be doing it.
I feel like we're gonna forget we're supposed to be playing trivia and just keep drinking the beer.
I mean, that's not a bad time.
That's what it's for.
Okay, so now you have to talk about the blowtorch, but I will say you can tell that this beer is not super fresh.
Oh, don't tell anybody that. I'm trying to pawn it off on everybody at the airport.
It's so funny that you were trying to pawn it off on me when I said we didn't even have to drink right now because we're drinking later.
I know, but what's the fun of doing this if we're not drinking?
So much fun. Anyway, blowtorch.
Oh yeah, so after Shannon went out,
Yeah,
I
it was
decided
a
to go
weird
out.
weekend.
I was
for
like,
us.
I'm gonna go out, but I started at 4 and I went out with my friend Becca, who could truly go out all night. She never gets tired. And I was like, I am going to give myself 4 hours, so we're going to leave by 8. But this nice man at Great American Pub in Conshohocken was like, it would make my Christmas if you guys would have a drink with me. And I was like, sold, because that's such a nice thing to say. And he wasn't creepy at all. He was older. He was out with his friends who were like all my grandpa's age. And he really liked Becca. And he kept like politely hitting on her, not in a weird way. And we're like, oh, like we were just coming here for a drink. We want to go to this other place, 118 North, that we usually go to. So we went there, and the bartender had this blowtorch, not a big one, but I was like, that is so freaking cool. I need that to light my candles. And I was like, can I have it? And he's like, it's the kitchen's, and they'll be mad at me if I don't give it back. So I was like, I bet I can get one off Amazon, which I did. And then Anthony sent me a text the other day and said, why did you buy a blowtorch? And I was like, to light my candles. It's amazing. And it's such a conversation starter.
It is definitely a conversation starter. I had a lot of questions when you told me that you were getting a blowtorch.
I know. I think that's all I texted you.
Yeah,
bought a
I asked, right.
And then I forgot to answer again.
I know. We're not very good at texting back, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just part of our culture.
I mean, what a weird weekend for us.
I know. And then I was trying to tell these people at the bar that lemon drop shots taste like lemonade and we should all take one. And the bartender said I should be a salesperson. And I was like, I should.
I think you would be a hilarious salesperson and it could either go so well or so horrible. Also, people like you would get rejected a lot. Like people reject salespeople a lot.
I know.
It
And
would
it's a
hurt
lot
your
of cold
feelings.
calling. Yeah, I don't have thick skin
It
for
seems
that.
like a lot of work.
I'm not made for
Not
that.
opposed to people that do it, but I don't think that you're the person to do that.
And I also don't like talking to people. I'm not social.
Well, that's literally what that job would be, so I don't think that
I'm the
would
most
count. You're social.
introverted,
No.
extroverted person.
You are social when you drink though, which is, so the bartender I think was right in that instance. When you drink, you would be a great salesperson because you
Yeah.
don't care if people are mean or not.
I know.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so I think the first thing naturally, since it's like the beginning of January would be to talk about if we're doing New Year's resolutions or not. And what our thoughts are on them and like in general resolutions. So what are your thoughts on resolutions in general? Like, do you think that that's a made up thing? Do you think it makes sense?
I don't know. I've never been a New Year's resolution person because I'm like, why do you need a new year to change something?
I know.
But I'm all for them. It's kind of like Lent, like when you give something up for Lent.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, their New Year's resolution is the gym or they give something up, which is what ours are.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
But we are also doing dry January.
I know. So we're recording this like a couple of weeks before. So it'll be very interesting.
Oh my God, how will we do a recording in January? I just said it's not fun unless we're drinking.
You said that. I didn't agree. I think
We're gonna have to drink like a mocktail.
there was an episode that we almost didn't drink. It was just the one we couldn't record because of your shitty.
Oh, the comforted?
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I mean, I don't think we need to
That's
drink
true.
when we do
I guess we'll
this,
see
but
how it
it'll be
goes.
very interesting to see like if we actually did that. I will say that I am drinking on January 1st, but after that I will try to stop.
Is that, do we get one cheat day?
No, it's New Year's Day and I already have plans. So I'll start the second and end it on February 1st. So I'll like still do the full amount. It just will go into February.
I will say the last time I did it, I did not notice any benefits.
We've talked about that.
I don't think, I mean, I guess it's like a good cleanse and it makes you feel better, but
you're saying it didn't make you feel better.
No, I
like in all honesty.
Yeah,
it
it's
didn't.
like when I'm stressed and go home, I want to have a glass of wine
Yeah.
or a beer. And if you can't do that, then you just bottle up all that stress.
Until the morning when you work out. That's your
Yeah.
stress. You have a stress reliever in the morning and stress reliever at night.
Yeah, so I mean,
But you said like you
I
didn't
like
even
it.
sleep that better, right?
No, because I sleep fine now.
I know.
can fall
So
asleep at any minute.
for me, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done it in probably like 3 years,
Mhm.
but I saw a big difference. Like I lost weight in my face. I lost weight in like my, it's not hips, but it's basically like where technically like you're losing inches. Like I lost like inches because like I could tell that like my pants were like a little bit looser like than they used to be. And I will say I didn't sleep better, but like overall health wise, like I did feel better. But it's hard and I haven't done it since.
It is really hard. And I think it's hard because
That's
there's so
true.
many.
I did it when I was pregnant. So
Yeah,
I've
you did it for
actually
9 months.
so it must have been 4 years ago when I did it though, because I was pregnant 2 years ago.
It's
It
hard
will
because
be.
there's a lot of social events involved around drinking.
Yeah, I know. When I was pregnant and not telling anybody, it was pretty difficult for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Well, 9 months, you can definitely do a month.
I know. I haven't tried it since.
What if one of us cracks?
I mean, that happened when I did it. So when I did it,
I cracked.
Jess
in 2
cracked
weeks.
and tried not to tell me, and then because she can't keep anything a secret, told me. So she didn't do it, but then she ended up doing it the following year. Then I didn't.
It gets easier once you're like past the first week. Until you're around people who are drinking and they're like, oh, just take a sip. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for me because I did that for way longer at this point, but I didn't have that experience before. So I wonder if it's going to be easier for me or harder for me. It might be easier. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll have
Now
to
I'm
see.
nervous.
But now you guys will have to stay tuned because it'll be really interesting if we can actually do this.
Yeah, if any of our listeners are doing dry January, tell us so we can all do it together.
Yeah, we can all root each other on.
And if you slip up, that means I won't feel bad for slipping up.
That's exactly why you want other people to say if they're doing it or not. It's not to hold them accountable. It's to be like, oh, you did it. I can do it too.
If you had a sip, I'm gonna have a sip then too.
Yeah,
That's support.
very interesting. But yeah, I think in general, when I did it, it did make me feel like a little bit better about myself, which leads me to like my resolution. I haven't had a resolution in years. mostly because I just know myself and I'm not very good at keeping them. So I actually understand the start of like the year though, like the theory behind it makes sense, like new year, fresh start. But really you can do that whenever. So again, we're recording this like a little bit before this is coming out. So tried to start, which it's gonna be hard around the holidays, but I have talked about this previously. Like I eat a ton of candy like at work and I snack pretty poorly in general, but especially during the week around around work. And that's like my goal is to stop doing that. I'm not like cutting out sweets all the time. I'm not, but like it's just so much unnecessary snacking. And to be honest, over the last probably like 4 months, I have come to realize like I am addicted to sugar because when I don't have
Do you put it in your coffee too?
no.
Oh,
Well, I do. So when I like get coffee at like coffee shops, like I'll get mixed like a specialty drink and it definitely has sugar in those. But like if I'm making coffee at my house, it's black.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what I started doing. I just started cutting sugar out of coffee, but I'm not a big sweets person in general. Unless it's there, then I'll eat it.
Yeah, that's my problem though.
If it's
at
there,
work, like my friend from work has a candy jar and she keeps it stocked all the time. And it's like, it's also an excuse to like get up and move for a minute. But it's been so much, like it's been pretty disgusting how much I've eaten it.
Try those, like, they do those smart sweets, which are like the healthy candy.
But that's like, I wanna just like stop snacking. Like I wanna be better, like at work, I don't eat well. At home, that's not snacking. So like my meals at home, like my dinners at home on the weekends, my breakfasts, like those are pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Because Mark makes them. Because I'm so lucky.
Because Mark's the best.
Yeah, I'm so lucky. But like, and he's very focused on always like having
healthy
and
eating
stuff. Yeah, but I don't do that at work and I don't have time, or I don't prep my lunch, like because I'm prepping Brady's lunch and I'm getting Brady ready and actually
You don't have time.
Mark now preps his lunch mostly, but I get like a bunch of stuff ready in the morning. And so it's like most of the time doesn't work for me. But I have tried to start like making my own coffee, sometimes packing at least like, you know, some grapes and like a cheese stick or something, like so that it's not like a horrible snack, but then I'm still hungry. So like I think I'm like currently going through a withdrawal from it because yesterday I like really wanted it and it was very difficult. But that's like
and you didn't eat it?
I haven't. It's only been 3 days. And I will say like,
do you get a headache if you don't?
Yeah, I had like a huge headache today.
That's the worst.
Yeah, so I'm like definitely like addicted to it. So that's why I think it's like just better for me to not do that. So I also did not start a timer. Again, Happy New Year. Still doing the same stuff like 9 episodes in.
But we have time.
Yeah.
We can't be late for trivia.
No, we have a couple of minutes.
My New Year's resolution, I think, is to start weightlifting because every time I see people on Instagram who are like big weightlifters, I want my legs to look like their legs. And I love cardio, but I know you're not supposed to do cardio every day, according to the health experts. So I'm going to incorporate more strength training into my weekly routine. And I thought about joining a gym, but I'm not about that life anymore.
I think if you start it and realize like you really like it, and you think that you can do more at the gym with weightlifting than you can at home, then that's like a consideration. But I don't think it's necessary to join one right now. I think it would be too intimidating for you. You're honestly so used to working out in your home 7 days a week that like that switch into doing something that you're not familiar. Like it's not like you'd be going
go somewhere in the morning and get ready.
I don't know. I'm not a morning person, so I'm not about that either.
I don't want to talk to people. I don't want any more friends.
You don't need friends.
No, yeah, so I'm gonna try it out.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, but that's mine. And then just try not to drink as much, but you know,
we try that all the time.
Yeah,
and then life gets in the way. Sometimes I feel like we're actually pretty good at it. I actually feel like we're better at it when we're not thinking about it.
Yeah, like I try not to during the week.
Like there are some times where I can go almost 2 full weeks without drinking and not realizing it's been 2 weeks. But if you actively say, I'm not gonna drink for 2 weeks,
It's
you're gonna just,
so long.
and you're just gonna think about how you're not drinking for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's on your mind. So it's just very different.
Yeah, so hopefully we stick to them. But for the whole New Year's resolution, like, does it supposed to go for the whole year or
That's
is
the
it set?
plan, I think.
Really?
But I think it could just, I mean, that's
I guess it could be a yearly goal.
yeah, or your resolution just leads into something that becomes like a part of your lifestyle. Like where maybe you'll just incorporate weights like once a week and you're like, wow, I like this works for me. Or me, it's like, okay, I eat candy once a week instead of every single day, which is what I've been doing. So yeah. So, I mean, I think that's kind of like the goal, to better yourself in some way. So even if it's not even if you're not bettering yourself with the exact goal you start with, maybe.
Any betterment, is that a word?
I think so.
I'm gonna have to look that up later. Remember, I didn't know what TBD meant, so
I did
don't
almost
quote me on anything I
I
say.
did almost put that, like, I tried to spin that in our Instagram post, like, about that episode, but I didn't know, I didn't know how, but to be debated.
It's shocking. I really hope nobody in my professional world listens to this on a regular basis because they're gonna be like, how the hell does she do what she does?
Yeah, but
Fake it till you make it. That's what I say.
and you're making it, so you're good. You're good. I know. Okay, I don't know like how much time we left, because again, I didn't do, I should not be the keeper of the time anymore. I
You
don't
will
think.
never make a good secretary.
No, I mean,
Is that, yeah, a secretary of like any board, you have to take all the notes and
I
everything?
was the secretary for my radio station in college and I did a fine job.
How many years ago was that?
I don't know. Like we graduated 10 years ago, so 12 years ago.
Your
So
secretary skills have slipped to the wayside.
I mean, I'm not saying they were amazing before, but they got the job done. So, but I don't think this even really needs to be like a full topic, but we kind of just like lost track of time in December. So
Oh, yeah, we
we
did.
planned on having an episode come out the week before Christmas, and then that just like
life just gets in the way.
it really did. We tried. We actually
We did
tried
try.
multiple times and our schedules just couldn't match up.
Which is so weird. It's like sad as adults, your schedules never match up
Yeah,
anymore.
and we're gonna have to try an episode virtually to see like how it goes.
Yeah, it won't be in the comfort inn.
And it won't be in the comfort inn because it won't work. We've tried. So I think
Maybe
we'll
I'll
have to
be in
try
the
one
6.
just to see,
Yeah.
because our dynamic is obviously amazing.
I think it's better in person.
It is better in person. That's why we keep trying to do it in person, but there are gonna be times where I think we're probably gonna have to do it virtual, so we'll have to start that. But just as a quick rundown, because we didn't get to talk about this, like gift giving.
Holly jolly Christmas gift
Yeah.
for your significant other.
Yeah, like, or just like it could be gifts in general. Like, what do you think is like one of the best gifts that Anthony has ever gotten you?
Best gift.
Other than like, you marrying.
I am the gift. I say.
Do you see those? Do you
If
see
any-
those Instagram reels where it's like me prepping like my husband's gift and
And then
it's
they're
wrapping
wrapping.
paper and then they roll themselves in the
I
wrapping
think
paper?
everybody should say they are the gift because you are. I say it every day here. I am the gift of
You're the gift that keeps
this whole
giving.
building. Yeah, the gift that keeps giving.
Great.
Remember how humble we are?
Yeah.
The best gift I've ever gotten. I will say Anthony usually does not do well with gifts. Like I have to give him specifics because he's very into buying things he finds on social media. Like he's a
Oh.
total anything with marketing gimmicks, he'll buy it. Like
Really?
yeah. The one time he bought me a rose, it was like a Beauty and the Beast rose that lit up. And
You
he's
didn't like that?
I mean, I liked it, but I was like, why did you buy this?
That would be something that I would like.
It's in my bathroom. And for Valentine's Day, he got me a floating rose. And I'm like, what?
What's a floating rose?
It's just like this glow. It looks like a snow globe, but there's a rose in the middle and it floats.
To me, those are the two. That's the same gift twice.
No, well, the one is actually a real rose.
Oh, I missed that part.
But
Okay.
last year he bought me a diamond necklace, which I was shocked because for the whole year I felt like I'm really into choker necklaces. And I was like, I would love a diamond choker necklace, but I could never find one that I really liked. And he reached out to one of his customers who is a jeweler or something and got one custom made, which I thought was so
That's
nice.
so nice.
Yeah. And then I am just a terrible person sometimes. I tried it on. I was like, this isn't even a choker necklace.
Jessica.
I know, I'm so bad. So then we had to go out and find a new chain and everything. But yeah, I was like, I can't believe you picked this out all by yourself.
That's so nice.
And not from Instagram or Facebook.
Wow, see? And you didn't have to give him like explicit instructions.
I didn't. I thought he was just going to, we're more into like, not necessarily gift giving, but we'll go on a weekend trip or something. Yeah. Because it's just easier. Because I'm like, we're adults and we don't need to give each other gifts.
Live together and you like sometimes like the gifts that you give are really just like gifts for each other for the house or for something like that. So
like this year I was also like, let's get a new washer and dryer.
That's an amazing
that's how we know we are adults.
Yeah, that is so expensive and also like great though, because you don't technically it's a gift, so you don't have to like worry about buying it later on in the year.
But I'm also that person that waits till the last minute. Like I was doing all my Christmas shopping online today.
Yeah, I'm not very, I think I'm good at it, and then I am good at it for people that aren't Mark, which is so weird, but he just like never wants anything.
Yeah.
Or wants the same thing all the time. Like he loves hockey jerseys. And I'm like, you have 27.
Yeah,
like,
you don't
need another one. But I think my favorite, it was what we just talked about. It's actually an experience. So we started dating Memorial Day weekend. It was our first Christmas, and he put like a whole thing together, and he surprised me. Not like it wasn't a surprise because it was part of the gift, but he was like giving me clues as to where we were going, and it was like a pair of red socks. And it's been 7 years, so I can't remember any of the other things currently, but it was that we were going to spend our 1 year anniversary in Boston. And it was like so cute. He had a whole agenda for like what we were gonna do, where we were staying. It was so cute. And so he's like very big into like the experience giving and like very much puts a lot of thought into it. 1 year, he bought me a cheese making class. Yeah.
In Philly?
I actually don't remember where it was, but it was like pretty wild and it was really fun and definitely like a memorable experience. Like a lot of the times he gives things, they're like very I just always remember, currently not doing a good job at explaining them, but he gives very thoughtful gifts. But I think when I'm like, okay, let's get each other something small, that's like the confusing part for him, because he's like, well, what's small? And then I go overboard, and then he's like, I thought we weren't doing like a lot. And I'm like, yeah, but then I got you this, and so then I needed to get you this, and then I needed to get you like a vest that went with the 2 shirts that I like bought you. And he's like what?
It just snowballs.
Yeah, so I think this year, like he's like, I bought you one small thing, and I'm like, what?
Like what
does that small mean? And he was like, he told me an amount, and I said perfect. So then I got him 2 things that amounted to that, and I called it a day.
And you called it small.
I did, and it's done.
Yeah, gift giving is hard. I have a question. For somebody in this situation. What would you do if you just started dating somebody? How long do you have to date someone before you get them?
Oh man. Oh, okay. Like what is just dating? Somebody like a month?
Yeah.
No.
What if it was, I need to do some calculations here.
No, I would say
6 months. I would say 4 to 6 months.
6 months you get a gift, I would say.
I would think so.
I think the 4 is like a little in between. Like I would say anywhere between like 1 and 3, you just like go to dinner together and say that's the gift. It's too hard. You don't know what's gonna happen. But I think 6 months is like, I've spent enough time with you to know like I like you.
That's true.
So I would say, I wouldn't say anything big for 6 months. I also think it depends on how old you are, like income wise, because sometimes people really just can't afford gifts, which is also totally fine. They can make something, you can do an experience together, like you can go, this sounds like, may sound dumb to some people, but I have found like going on hikes is fun. Like if we don't want to spend money, and it's like, if you're an active person, like you can go do that. If you like, there are ways to not spend a lot of money and still do something together, just call it like a gift for each other, and it's just spending time. So
Time is a gift.
yeah.
Don't forget it. But
Yeah.
I will not ever think hiking is a gift. So if
I know,
anybody
that
is
feels
getting
like-
any ideas,
I know,
just stop.
that's definitely a story for like another episode, because we
That was fun, though.
Missy, Mark and I like forced Jess to go on a hike, and we didn't understand how much she didn't like hiking until we were on the hike. Missy was running though,
Oh my God,
but
I know, I
again,
couldn't keep up with her.
I know,
I
feel
like the after hiking activities.
which is why I do them also.
Remember we said we were gonna go to Screwballs that night?
Yeah, that is so bad. Yeah, definitely a story for another time, but I would say back to your gift giving. I don't know. I think 6 months would probably be the first time I would actually consider getting a gift, I would say.
Yeah, it's hard, especially if you don't know what to get them. And
Yeah,
it's too stressful.
It also
It's a
feels
lot
like
of
you
pressure.
should have, at 6 months, it feels comfortable enough to be able to have a conversation, be like, are we giving gifts or not? Like, I don't care, but I don't want to look dumb if you're getting me something and I don't get you something.
Yeah, then you just look like an asshole.
Not on purpose though. You really
But then
didn't know.
if they give you a gift and you didn't get them one, you could just wrap up yourself. Because remember,
Exactly. Oh, what
you're
a
better than
way.
Furby.
What a way to round that out. You're so
I
that was
tried.
great.
It's because I'm drinking expired beer and it must be stronger than it is usually.
I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works, but it could.
I
Either
wish
way.
I could count the number of times you say that's not how it works every time.
Oh,
I
it has
talk.
to be at least 3 times an episode.
It does, but it's true. My logic is not the right logic.
But I just nicely let you know by saying no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have to go to trivia now, so we are going to say rate, review, subscribe. Thanks for listening. Welcome to 2024. Thanks for being with us in 2023, and we look forward to so many more fun episodes.
But not fun in January because we won't be drinking, so it's gonna be weird, but bear with us.
Will not be weird at all. We do
I'll
not need
still
to
have a
drink to
great
do this. We can still talk about all of our stories. Okay, anyway, back to rate, review, subscribe, comment on anything that you'd like us to talk about in 2024, and tap in next week.
Bye.
Bye.